Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast, and we are doing something new tonight. It's going to be a great show. We've got so much to talk about. We've got so much to cover. I've got an unbelievably large panel tonight. It's unbelievable. It's a crazy amount of people here, but guess what? Yesterday was a big deal. New games are out. I'm not even going to bother going through everybody one by one through the intros because there's just so many people. So with that being said, I'm going to start with my list here, okay? And we even have somebody coming after the show starts, okay? This is wild. So first, but definitely not least, I got my buddy here, my usual suspects. Xbot448 is joining us. We've got Dark Optimus. You guys might know him as Goldblum. Eric Jackson from Brap Podcast. We've got the Brap Senior himself. Enrique is with us. Nautical Gaming Forte, another usual suspect. Okay, it doesn't end there, guys. It doesn't end there. We've got Nick, a.k.a. Undead. He's with the Lords, okay? He's writing for the Lords now, and he does phenomenal work. He's always opinionated. And then last but certainly not least, right now, is Sir X-Man. Sir X-Man is also joining us. Well, I would say is probably a super fan. Sir X-Man has been with the Mooch for so long, and it is an honor to have him back on the panel. And I'm going to give a shout-out to Crap Gamer. Check out Crap Gamer Reviews. He will be joining us at some point. Maybe in the future, we don't know, but check out Crap. His channel's fantastic. He's got great videos up daily. That being said, hopefully the entire panel has unmuted their mics. They've been so fantastic in working with me. I want to say this much. We had X019 last night, right?
Oh, yes, we did.
And let's be honest, okay? Xbot, I'm glad you chimed in because I'm going to you first. Xbot, here's the deal. What is it that you would tell people that they need to be amped about or excited about? What should they take away that you took away from X019 inside Xbox?
Well, first off,
hopefully the entire panel has
when it comes to Japanese titles like the franchises such as Yakuza, Final Fantasy, and Kingdom Hearts. One thing I can say with them bringing the previous Kingdom Hearts to Xbox, that was something like I was kind of like rooting for before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. And it's something I pretty much kind of gave up on after Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. And that was that. So to see them bringing those games to this platform, absolutely awesome. Other than that, guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, but when it comes to the service called Game Pass, it is becoming it is becoming an absolute no-brainer that if you have an Xbox platform, you need to have Game Pass with it. The games that they're putting into Game Pass, even with the Yakuzas, the Final Fantasies, but the whole list of games that they showed throughout the show last night, it's a no-brainer. I believe, Mooch, I think that you can get on board.
Nobody's been doubting the value of Game Pass, but
when it first came out, you were skeptical.
Well, no, wait a minute. You got to remember something. Okay, everything happens, and if you go back to probably about 1949, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna be on the moon. Somebody be like, you're full of shit. Okay, right? And then all of a sudden, 1960 something, wait a minute, we landed on the moon. You're full. My point being is this: when Game Pass was originally announced, it was full of games that nobody had any real interest in. It was a lot of just indies and 360 titles, no first party games, no big third party AAA bangers were in there.
They changed all that.
They did, but you have to be let's be honest. That first 9 months, 10 months, it really was nothing to talk about.
Brother,
so we couldn't even.
Pass.
I couldn't even. We couldn't give away on MNC. We couldn't give away codes. But listen, I want to say this much. Let me take what Xbox just said. I'm going to go to Enrique. Enrique, what was your take from it? And you're hearing, this is the problem, I think, even as an Xbox fan, all we ever hear that we keep, no matter whether it's E3 or no matter whether it's XO or whether it's a weekly or monthly inside Xbox, all I keep hearing from people are, well, Game Pass looks great. Right? Okay, I get it. It's a great value. Enrique, what did you take away from X019?
All right, so my question is going to be a little long-winded because I have a lot to say about this, but
Speak the truth.
I will say this. Look, I got overhyped, and like Cognito and J-Dub, they were like, oh, Enrique, temper the expectations. But I got hyped because Microsoft's PR was hyping me up. New games. When I heard Obsidian, new IP, Rare, new IP, I was hyped. And then we get to X019. And then they show Rare's game. And I'm like, Everwild. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm hearing, look, it looks good. But now I'm hearing that it's a co-op or games as a service type game. And I don't want my frustration with the Rare acquisition. Rare was very instrumental in the success of the 360. Microsoft has not used Rare since the 360. They have not used them well, in my opinion. Sea of Thieves, no, not my thing. This game, if it's co-op games as a service, not my thing. What I want to see, if they're going to show a Rare IP, a new Rare IP, I want to see them show something like a Rare IP that speaks to Rare back in the 360 days, the OG Xbox days,
so hold
the
on,
N64 days.
Enrique, 360 days. So you mean like I don't know,
like
Viva
Banjo
Pinata?
Kazooie, Perfect Dark, Viva Pinata.
No,
yeah,
I did. I don't know for a little bit of climax there. Viva Pinata. How about Banjo and Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which was pretty much shitted on when it came out. Oh, pardon my French, Mooch. But at the end of the day, like throughout most of the 360 era, going into the Xbox One era, Rare has been that development studio that's been making different games. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to. Okay, but let me tell you something. They've been making different games. Microsoft wasted talent at Rare on the Kinect for years, right? Rare is a story studio. Story studio. I mean, they are the pinnacle. They have so much rich history, and now we see more games as a service from them. I don't want that.
What was the story of Viva Pinata again?
GoldenEye. What about some of the other games they came out with?
Dude, you're going back into Nintendo.
Okay, but that's my point, though. That's my point. They have a storied history, storied foundation.
But you just said go back to the 360 era, and I'm mentioning are 360 games.
I'm saying for the Xbox, for all intents and purposes, the Xbox platform. Yes, prior to that, they have a story. They were a huge acquisition, but I don't think Microsoft used them well, and I don't think recently used them well. And I like Perfect Dark, Grab by the Ghoulies, Banjo Kazooie. Viva Pinata, which was a highly rated game, by the way. They haven't used them, I think, well, like in my opinion, they haven't used them the way I would like to see them use Rare. I don't want to see games as a service from Rare. It's fine if they do it, but like, why is our next IP potentially games as a service? Give us something different from Rare. We already have Sea of Thieves, which I don't like.
This is a big
Sea of Thieves is like trash to me.
Well, that's why I want to jump in real quick, Henry.
Go ahead, Eric.
Because here's the thing that we heard when they jumped into Sea of Thieves. People are like, well, why can't they do something different? We've seen them do the single player. Let's give them something different. It's like, fine, okay. We finally sat back and said, go for it. Sea of Thieves it up. Do your thing. Yep. So here we go again. Now we're getting another co-op game from them as opposed to, like, I'm with Enrique. Like, I wanted to see something from them that's a little bit more traditional Rare.
Eric, I think we're not going to get that. This is what we have to. Do we have to all
realize?
Go ahead, Forte.
No, so you guys got to realize at this point, this ain't the Rare that you remember. This ain't the Rare from old time. Even the Rare that we
Forte,
had.
I'm going to give you the mic right back. But Forte, can I just add to that? I also want to tell everybody this is not the Microsoft we knew anymore.
That too.
Well, that's a great point, Mooch. It's not.
I know it's not the GoldenEye Rare. I know it's not.
I mean, it's not even the Rare that we got.
But
during the
they're not capable of doing. I mean, they're trying to keep that Rare flavor. Sea of Thieves looks like old Rare type games.
Well, just
and so does Everwild.
The game look like older games doesn't mean that technically you can make those games any better. The team that's there now at Rare is more sub to make games that are co-op friendly, bring people together, and that seems to be the identity of that studio now.
You ever think that that's maybe what Rare wants to make, though?
It might be but you know what? It might be what Rare wants to make, but for us that played Rare games for all of these years, 10 plus years of playing Rare games, this isn't what we want, because guess what? We're the ones that remember who Rare was. Though, man. But I just think we need to stop thinking of Rare in the past tense at this point. You're not going to get what you want from Rare.
That's a great point, Forte. That's a great point. But at the same time, I'm saying, is it possible to maybe see they did the co-op, type thing? I'm saying
I don't know why you guys are going back to that old Rare, because like I just pointed out, with games going from the 360 era into this generation, obviously Rare is a different studio than you might want them to be. but that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are a lot of people playing Sea of Thieves right now. And when it comes to a game as a service, it can be a wide spectrum in terms of the type of game that it is as well. And like, just to hear, when you hear gas and you're like, oh man, I'm out. I mean, you're just shutting the door so prematurely.
I don't think it's really that, but I think maybe we're presenting. That's one of the issues. But I mean, when I heard that Obsidian and Rare were going to present new IPs, and let me just put this out there because I know a lot of people are going to go, Mooch, it's not fair. You don't understand. This is Obsidian's B, C, D, LMNOP team. Okay, I get it. Okay, they're not, but these same folks are the ones that were saying, look at Obsidian. We've got 2 studios now, maybe 3. But the thing about it is that this is something that in Xbox, you should know this more than anything, is we've been saying that there's been this kiddie kind of Disney-looking theme thing. And it's like, you know what? Xbox, let me just say to everybody, Xbox made a hell of a point ages ago. He's like, you know what, Mooch? We've got our Gears. We've got our Halo. We've had our shooters. Maybe there's a time and a place for these type. And I go, you know what? The man's making some sense. But now I turn around and I see that since we've had that conversation, all I see are these very, very like simplistic looking like these Disney type games. And you know what? You're losing that hardcore audience that was that 360 group that's still hanging on by like literally a guitar string at this point. And let me go to Nick. Nick, I want to ask you because you write so many pieces, and I think you're very fair across the board. Really, honest to God. When you watch something like what the transformation is from the 360 era to where we're going, I mean, do you see this as, I wouldn't use the word an issue because there's definitely probably an audience there, but is Microsoft by chance losing some of their old faithful in these moves by going to these kind of like Disney themed games?
I don't know. See, the thing is I think Microsoft need to diversify their portfolio. I think that was my biggest criticism of them in a long haul is that their portfolio is very narrow in terms of variety. And them using multiple teams within studios to create different experiences, I'm all for that. I like these weird little games. Like we were just talking last week about how it was great that Kojima got to make Death Stranding and had the creative freedom to make that game. That needs to be applicable across the board. Just because the game doesn't appeal to me doesn't devalue that game. But with that being said, Microsoft is leaning a little more to the I'm not going to call it animated because that's not the right word for it, but a lower fidelity playing with art style. And that's not a bad thing as long as there's balance. The balance is what's important.
But Nick, can I just ask you a question though? Because I like where you're going with that. But let's be honest, when you look at the market, right? Doesn't Nintendo almost have that market cornered?
No, I think that Sony and Microsoft collectively need to invest in these smaller experiences because you know what? Concrete Genie was damn fun, and I love that game. I've played Medieval. I love that game. Okay. I love these smaller experiences because you know what? If Microsoft wants to put out a game that's 8-10 hours long, it's short, it's kind of funny, I'm fine with that. Same thing with PlayStation. I loved some of their smaller experiences. As long as you have big games to back up the smaller games, I have no issue with a great point.
And that is
smaller games get you to the bigger games too.
And that is the problem.
And in terms of the terms we're talking about with why is Rare making service games now? Sea of Thieves is hugely successful metrically for them. Mm-hmm. And this next game, people are jumping on it's just another Sea of Thieves. No, they confirmed that there's going to be co-op. They did not confirm PvP or anything else. We're jumping ahead. We're literally trying to butcher this game off of a reveal trailer. I think people need to dial back the criticisms on this because this would be like if we started dissecting any other trailer on a reveal trailer. I think people are just jumping the gun and freaking out a little bit too much because people's expectations when they thought an Obsidian game, they thought they were going to get Outer Worlds. Right. When even Obsidian said, this is going to be our smaller game. Our big RPG is what we're working on right now. Obsidian said that a week before X019. Rare said, this is our next project So Everwilds is their next project while they continue to maintain Sea of Thieves. There was no mixed messaging with these announcements. People just need to pay attention. And I think that's the biggest problem that people don't have is, like, if you read Aaron Greenberg's feed, you're going to get hyped out of your mind. Don't do that.
Yo, check this out. Now, Nick, real quick.
Hold on, Xbox.
Let
me chime in because I'm gonna kind of say something here. I think the best IP that they showed off at XO was Everwild. That showing that little trailer, even though it was just a trailer, it was all like, okay, I have some interest in it. When I saw Grounded, I was all like, I have no interest in it because it seems like more of like a multiplayer game, and you guys know me, I'm not a multiplayer guy at all. Like I it's not that I despise multiplayer, it's just that I have more fun experience playing more of a single player game.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you on that. I'm more like that.
With that kind of game, I was like, I'm out. Bleeding Edge, I'm out because I just don't have that passion to get better at those kind of games, because I mean those kind of games you have to really be good at in order to really enjoy them. So I don't have that vibe to go in and play that kind of thing. So Everwild was really something that kind of stood out to me, and so did the Don't Nod game. Tell Me Why.
Game was good,
yeah.
That looked good. I was all like, okay, this is something different. This is something, and of course, I love the Don't Nod games. Life is Strange 2. So I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy this game as well. It was different. I mean, yeah, granted, they're putting in something that's more controversial to some people. To me, when I saw it, I was like, that's awesome for them to actually put something like that in a game where you put a character that is a transgender character into a game. It's its own game. It's not like it's a character that was created before. This is its own thing. So it's kind of nice to see some of that kind of stuff coming into gaming.
Well, I'm glad. I'm kind of glad to hear Goldblum say this.
That's the way I feel.
I myself personally, I think what it, and I don't disagree with anything you just said, Goldblum. I think you're actually onto something. The only thing is that I'm starting to see a trend here, and it's interesting because I'm not going to disagree. Nick made a point. You made a point. You guys are both saying what I said earlier, that there's definitely an audience out there for this, right? And there's certain metrics that'll prove this to all of us. But now I'm going to go to Sir X-Man. Sir X-Man, there's probably no bigger, and Xbox going to take offense to this. There's probably no bigger Xbox fan that I know than Sir X-Man. And Sir X-Man, where are you from where you're starting to see these inside Xboxes and these E3s? Are you, because you've made a lot of comments to me like, early on you were like, Mooch, give it time, relax, don't worry about it. And then as each show kept progressing and we see more and more of these types of games, because it looks like the executives have very little say and they're giving the devs full and utter control, which some people start applauding in light of match. That's fine. But I think you sometimes have to put your ear to the ground and listen to the consumer. And you know what I mean? Like sometimes the chef has to make what the customers want. You don't always just serve specials, right? So,
yes, sir.
So Sir X-Man, where are you right now on what you saw yesterday?
In my opinion is, where was this type of show at the past couple of E3s?
Okay.
And everybody's been asking for a new IP. They're complaining about the IP. It's a starting point for them. It's a starting point. And I'm glad to see that I've seen about, we see about 6-7 new IPs. We saw some that were only on PC that are only coming to Xbox and nowhere else. Like I'm waiting for, excuse the French for the name of your show, this CrossFire game coming out. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
And so many other things like those kiddie games that you guys think are kiddie games. We've been playing games like this, for a long time in secret because we don't tell nobody. But when you see your achievements that you played that kiddie game.
Hey, I just finished Concrete Genie, and I thought that game was freaking awesome. And that was on the PlayStation.
Mooch plays
like
Luigi's Mansion 3.
I do. I love it.
Outer World. No one knew how good Outer Worlds was going to be until it finally came out.
Exactly.
And Microsoft told people about this like relatively kind of late to the game. And when I saw it and when I experienced playing just a little bit of it that I had, I was like, this is amazing. What else can you give me, Microsoft? So I'm impressed that they're going in the right direction finally.
Okay.
And I think they're trying to show their muscle a little early on what they're about to start doing. Now, when they brought those other things, we were wondering, why does he keep going to Japan? Why does he keep going to Japan? The games that he threw in the Game Pass, now you know. The games he acquired from over there, now you know.
Here's the thing, though, guys. Listen,
really
we
put
can
it
all
to
sit
work.
there, but Sir X Man and everybody on the chat, guys, please feel free also to jump in when you want to speak. I got to be honest with you guys.
Raise my hand next.
You know, right? No, that's fine, Enrique. And you may be one of the guys that's really going to comment on what I'm about to say here. The same way I felt about back compat, which I think is a right that all of us have, right?
Back compat.
I love it too, because when you bought something, you should be able to play it, right? It shouldn't be dated. But my point is this. Okay, so they threw in all the Final Fantasies. Okay, so they're throwing all these older games in there. Okay, great. The service, we already said the value is unbelievable. Now it's more unbelievable. Okay, there's new games coming out every month now. And with the x86 architecture, even with a new generation starting, we have so many games, so much of a backlog. Who's stopping all these new games that are coming out to go and play? And you might go, Mooch, I don't have to stop playing new games to enjoy those Final Fantasy. But you do. Because those Final Fantasy games, right? Those Final Fantasy games are not in there forever. They're timed.
It's
so,
not, when it comes
to time.
hold on.
Too.
When it comes to the Final Fantasies, when it comes to the Yakuza, and when it comes to the earlier Kingdom Hearts, I think the biggest deal is that they worked that deal out to get those franchises on to Xbox, the older games onto Xbox. And there is a fan base out there that will play them. Now, Mooch, it might not be for you. You might be like, I need the newest, the latest and greatest, and that's what I'm playing right now. But there is a gamer out there for these franchises. And now the gamer can own an Xbox and get into those franchises on his Xbox. That's a big deal, bro.
But Xbox,
I think if
real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. Well, real quick, even though it's going to Game Pass, right, for a little bit, you know it's going to come out eventually. So for those people who want to play those long games and keep them, because Microsoft gives you notice when those games are coming out, you'll be able to buy those games now for your Xbox and continue them by paying it with a discounted rate and having the game for life. So they'll still make money on that. They will. Yeah. Big time.
Go ahead, Enrique.
No, I was going to say, the Yakuza and Final Fantasy additions to Game Pass are nice, but they're not, for me personally, they're not anything that, like you said, Mooch, I'm not going to go. I've played those games already. And I think if you've had interest in playing those games, you probably have played them already. You probably picked them up on PC or PlayStation. I guess if that's your thing. If you want achievements, but my thing is this with EXO, like I just feel like they're like they have this console that they keep talking about, the Scarlet, that it's the Beast, it's this, it's that. They didn't show me anything that leads me to believe that I need to go out and spend $400, $500, $600.
Your Xbox One S can play Everwild. Yes.
Yeah, like why do I need a Scarlet? If they're showing me, and I hate to use the word cartoon games, like I don't need that. I don't, and I don't need. So why, where there was no wow moment here for me. And you have this big event, and you have Aaron Greenberg, and like I think Undead said, I'm going to take your advice. I'm not going to listen to Aaron Greenberg anymore. But you have this big event where they're flying people out. They're flying journalists out. They have YouTubers out there. They fly, the guys from Square Enix out to just announce that the old Final Fantasy games are going to be on Game Pass. It's just big event.
Yeah, but you don't need to do that. You can do that on a Nintendo Direct would do that in 20 minutes.
Hold on. It's
a missed marketing opportunity for them. If you're going, because you could do the same thing and have more of an impact. And let me tell you something. I'm watching this thing, and all those announcers, by the way, look like they all did key bumps before they went live on EXO.
Right.
No, seriously. I'm joking, but I mean, like, it was like, I was like, come on, like, it's all fluff. I didn't care about the banter back and forth between, Major Nelson and the other guy. I didn't care about the interviews with the Korean developers they had with that game that was the racing game. They could have done this stuff in like a Nintendo Direct format, and it would have been fine for me. But if you're going to ask,
can I jump in real quick? I'm sorry, Rick. I mean,
go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
I said this to Nick last night because I kind of gave like a quick little synopsis of what I thought the show was. I said the show was fine. It is what it is. It wasn't a terrible. I mean, I said if you're gonna just judge it on the fact of being an Inside Xbox, if every other Inside Xbox was that, we wouldn't be saying they're boring. It was fine. They did some announcements, but to say XO. And you're out there and you're constantly saying biggest ever. And this is what I told Nick. They got to stop doing that for now.
Yeah, cut that out.
Every time because the hyperbole.
Eric, they made a custom. Wait, Eric. They made a custom controller. They're selling for $100 for this event.
Yeah, I just say this: let the show speak for itself, and then you let the audience decide what biggest ever.
Let the content speak for itself.
Right. But every time you do this, and the thing that's becoming a meme, like how wait for E3, I know that drives some people crazy, wait for next E3. The thing that's becoming a meme to me for them is lower expectations, guys. And why would you don't want people to start saying that about you every time you do a show. Keep a tempered expectation. You want people to feel hype, but stop doing the hype machine where you're like, biggest ever, a kabillion gajillion announcements and a kabillion gajillion games, and then you got like
big announcements, man.
That's how marketing works. You have to get people hyped. You have to. But
you're not getting people hyped.
You're not getting people hyped. Right. You're not getting people
out from under them.
They're not really getting people hyped because they're hyping in terms of like trying to make the fans of Xbox.
They're trying to make the show like a vaudeville act. Real quick, let me just do this real quick. I want to pay a super chat and say thank you to everybody. Right? Sin Vendetta says, I haven't enjoyed a Rare game on Xbox since Cameo, Elements of Power, and I wasn't excited by the new game that they showed at X019 either. Real quick, I have one more here. I just want to pay tribute to our super chat, and then I want to get back to it right here. My apologies, guys. One Typical says, I think he's saying, Captain, for games that were out for years. Oh, no. My point being, and thank you guys for the super chat. Guys, the super chat's working. Holy crap. I appreciate it. Guys, keep it coming. It is the Mooch's channel. But realistically, I think we got to kind of talk about that. We're wasting an hour and a half on tap dancing on stage. Of course, I'm making a joke of it. And making
I want to raise my hand next.
But nobody's. No. I'm getting in on this.
Xbox, go ahead. Chime in.
Well, first off, Enrique, when you're talking about flying people from Square Enix out, obviously you don't know anything about Japanese business, because when you show up on stage, if you're a Japanese businessman and you show up on stage with somebody you are partnered in with that like that, it is an absolute show of respect.
I'm sorry. Does Nintendo fly people out on stage for Nintendo Direct?
But they are a Japanese.
Did Sony fly
company.
people out? Does Sony fly out people for?
They put the creator.
Come on, man. That's no. Stop. No, Nintendo Direct. Is Nintendo Direct flying people out? Come on.
Something other than stop. If you would let me actually respond to your question, there you go. All right. When it came down to what the hell is that title? The freaking forklift simulator. They had him out. They had the creator out on the Sony stage. Pretty much asking people for money to get Shenmue 3 done, right? Stuff like that. But when it comes to an American company,
did you just call Shenmue 3 a fucking simulator?
Yeah, he totally did.
Yeah. All right. But,
dang, bot.
But first off, they did that for their own kind of like business partnership. There was a lot of things that people said that there's no way in hell like the older Kingdom Hearts Final Fantasy, Yakuza, they said that would never happen. Never.
They had announced, let me tell you something. They had announced games like Jet Set Radio Future, Panzer Dragon Orta, without having the people from Sega.
They're not catering to Enrique.
You just said that they had people come from Japan because that's Japanese culture. What I'm telling you is there's been instances where they haven't done that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I-
And my biggest
At E3, where they announced,
They're showing.
where they announced
Hold on, I wanna
Jet Set
hear what-
Radio Future, where they
what he has
announced
to
Panzer
say.
Dragon Orta. They didn't have those people out
Yeah,
there.
how
for
long
the
ago
Switch
was
and
that?
stuff.
How
Hold
long
on,
ago?
Xbox-
Oh, so
and
Japanese
Enrique.
culture just changed like 10 years ago?
Xbox and Enrique, you both
American
made
culture
decent
has
points.
changed
Hold up.
within the last 4 years. What are you talking about?
Hold on,
dude?
Xbox. You guys both made a
You
decent
just
point. I'm
said
looking at
Japanese
Forte.
culture. It's
Yeah,
Japanese
and I'm
culture.
saying
too.
cultures can change. They can pivot. They can
Okay.
shift.
So
They
so
can.
Go ahead, Forte.
The question I have is, what does this have to do? What do they being there have to do with my experience of what I'm watching at
It,
EXO?
you know,
What
when it
does-
comes to
what are
that,
they
when it
doing
comes
for
to
me?
that, what they were showing is that, you know, there's a thing about Xbox that when it comes to Japanese games and stuff like that, it's an American platform. The games don't go there or whatnot. So they wanted to show that there is actually a close business partnership going on. They thought it was a big deal. There's other gamers out there that thought it was a big deal as well. And when you look at the entire XO and what the show was, I've gone out there on shows and stuff. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't know what they're gonna show with next year being a release for new hardware and a launch lineup. So what did they show? They put out there that Rare's got a new IP and they showed a teaser trailer to that, right? Which is awesome. We don't have any idea exactly what that game entails yet, and we got people shredding it already. All right.
All right.
When,
Yeah,
when it
that's
comes
true, 'cause
down,
all
and
we
hold
saw
on,
was-
but
so
then when it
let
comes
me-
down
trailer,
to it,
so-
when it comes down to it, if you're looking for that launch lineup for Scarlet and everything like that, unfortunately, you are going to have to wait for E3 or unless
You
they
wait,
do
you
an
don't-
event.
Oh, no,
before
okay, no,
time.
let
You
me-
don't
let's
think
talk
this
about
new
that.
Rare game is
Let's
going to be
talk-
part of Scarlet?
Oh, wait, let's talk about that right there. And Enrico will be the first one to know that I completely changed my tune on this over the last couple of years, over the last year, because I used to be just like you. Last year, I was saying, dog, they don't need to announce all their big things at these events. E3 is where they're going to blow it up and they're going to let everybody know what's coming out.
Okay.
And guess what? A year ago, I was saying that, and a year later, we're still talking about the
Yeah,
same
because
thing.
guess what? That wasn't
But
a
wait a
year
minute,
before
hold
a
up.
launch year, man.
But wait, I don't care about it being a launch year. This is
Yeah,
the
but
problem.
you
So
should, because
let's
it
talk
makes
about
common
XO.
sense.
Let's just talk about EXO in general. For me, EXO was not bad. It was not bad at all. They actually showed some compelling stuff on stage that will get somebody interested in the platform. But guess what? All I saw on that stage or on my TV or my computer monitor was another commercial for Game Pass.
Yeah.
For games that are
Yes,
companions
thank
to
you.
the better games, that the bigger games that I want from the system.
That's the
Everybody, everybody in this chat right now has Game Pass probably locked up for at least the next year and a half.
Oh,
for 99 cents.
I
For
pay my
99
month. What are you talking
exactly
about?
for I have.
No, I pay
Game Pass.
15 a month.
Look, I have Game
Why
Pass.
would you $1?
That is so stupid, bot.
Listen,
My
I have
apologies.
Game Pass for 3 years. Xbox, I got Ultimate. I can play these games on my PC. And the biggest thing
Okay.
I always tell people, this is the same thing I said on Brat last week. I was like, I just want to see Microsoft bring something substantially and big to the platform. I don't look, Halo's big, Gears is big, Forza is big. Fable, I mean, we couldn't even get a Fable sighting. We
They
couldn't
didn't even
get
put up
something
we
like-
couldn't even get a PowerPoint of Fable.
A new IP from Rare,
Right?
And you guys
Well, I
are
don't
asking
see,
for
but see, look,
something
the
big. This is
games look-
hilarious.
But
The
Xbox,
I mean, we
Xbox, wait a
basically-
minute.
Look, there is
Xbox,
nothing
you
wrong.
let me just say something real quick, Forte.
Go
Xbox, let me and I'm trying to make sense here for Xbox. You have to understand something. Xbox, you've been in a comical way. You haven't been harsh at all, but you've been in a comical way pretty hard on Death Stranding. You know what I mean? Calling it all, FedEx Simulator, this and that. And if I say to you, Xbox, you should play this game. You'd say, Mooch, I've been gaming long enough that I know that that's not for me. You said it to me last week. I've seen 3.5 hours of footage. I know what it is. I don't need to play that. I agree with you.
Oh, I know.
Now you
it's
have to
not
understand that everybody on this panel, I can't speak for the folks at home that are listening, but we've played Sea of Thieves, and we've played this type of genre already, and we're saying this is not what. I'm not saying we're not going to
Not what
play
we're
it, but
gonna do.
it's not what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Well, what were
And-
you looking? Hold on. What were you looking for?
Okay, let me answer that.
For an E3,
Let me
where
answer
they
that.
are going to reveal a launch lineup and new hardware.
Well, we've been waiting for 4 or 5 E3s, but that's okay. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, okay?
This is a launch year coming up.
Well, we're
dude.
gonna
It's
see
common
Halo.
sense, brother.
And we're going to see Fable, And that might be it. And then you're going to see a lot more of Everwild and Grounded.
I want Microsoft.
Won't Grounded?
Yes, Microsoft.
Grounded
Thank
will
you.
be out.
They
Grounded
could've-
will be out by then.
I'd have been happy.
And I'll tell you
Grounded
right now,
will be out before E3. Dude.
Look, Xbox. And I'm dude. You have a passion that most people in this community don't have.
that's
and you
correct,
stick by
Forte. He
it.
does.
I will never take that away from you.
No.
And I'm one of the most positive people. I hate saying that Microsoft isn't doing something that they need to be doing because they've been doing everything right. But we always say it comes back to games. And
Yeah,
look,
and
these games are for people. These games will speak to people. People will go out and get Game Pass. For me, this just made Game Pass. It didn't make it better because for me, Game Pass was already a 10. I can't get high. I mean, I can go to 11, but it's already there. I'm already a person that has this subscription service locked up for 3 years. What I can.
You
play
can't
these
get
on
any more.
PC.
Forte, that's
I
my
have an
point.
Xbox
You can't
One
get
X.
any more
I have an X sitting right here.
We can't
Why
get
do
more
I-
excited for Game Pass than we already said
can't.
it is, right? We said it's great. What do we want me to do?
Hey,
What are we
wait,
going to do?
But what are you?
The Xcloud announcement was big.
Yeah, I was
what are
gonna
you going
say-
to do?
Well, hold on. Don't get me started on that already, Enrique.
Oh,
Right.
no, he's
Okay.
a Stadia founder.
Let me tell you, that's correct. I'm not just a client. I'm also a founder. But
Right.
listen, folks, I do want to
I have some words on. I have some words on that. But go ahead. Go
I
for it.
I
Can I
can't
do-
wait to get into that. We can get into
Can
it. I gotta say,
can I
you
do
guys
one
on the
more
internet,
quick
what do we
thing,
use all the time? We keep using the term cringe all the time, right? And I'm like, what is the proper? Because we all have those times when someone says something awkward in the office, or something happens in public, and you kind of get that cringe moment for that other individual. I don't know if I've ever felt cringe like I did when they were presenting Xcloud yesterday on stage. Boy, were those two the worst two people. And I'm throwing the EA guy in there too for the Madden. Boy, I got news for you. Can somebody please get Mooch on the phone? If you need someone to
Madden
talk,
is a huge announcement.
if
when
you're
it comes
flying
to
people
xCloud,
over
brother.
from Square
Yes, it
Enix,
is.
it's a
Very
lot
big
cheaper to
announcement.
fly me over from New York.
I'm
Listen.
playing better than Xcloud on my phone.
all this
At the
show
cafe.
showed me was the double down and what is super important to Microsoft, which is xCloud and Game Pass. That's all this show told me.
Yes.
Because ultimately, for me being a person that has the service already, they're not telling me the reason I need to go out and upgrade my system. Now, some people are going to say you don't have to because you got a PC that can play everything. You got an Xbox.
You don't. No,
One
you don't,
X.
Forte.
But that's the problem that I have with it because Xbox is still a system to me. Like, I already know I'm going to get a PS5, and I don't even know what the heck they're going to be offering with that system because I just know the pedigree
Oh,
of the
but you
games.
but you do know, Forte. You do know what they're going to offer.
Well, yeah, you're right. I actually do know what's coming with that system. But the Xbox One X right now is all I kind of need. And I want Microsoft to tell me, along with everybody else out here, when next year comes around and a $500-$600 system is out there, why should I get it?
Let me hook up the
these
super chat real
games
quick.
I was going to
are
say,
I'm gonna get back to it. Hold on.
Forte.
But that's the thing; these games
Forte
are
nailed
great
what-
games,
He did.
But it
And I
comes
don't want to
down
lose that point.
why am I
Forte,
spending the power?
Forte,
The
don't lose that
power
thought.
of-
I really want to get
that-
back to that point because that's probably the essence of these shows is to sell further. But hold on, Carlos Crespin says, "Why are indies and Japanese games only cool when they're on Xbox, but trash when they're on PS4? Remember Indie Station? Just an observation." Hold on, now that's a good point. That is a lot of things we used to say back in the Xbox community. Sir X-Man says, Sir X-Man's on the show. He says, still best show we've seen from Microsoft in a while. Thank you for that. And Face Crook, which by the way, shout out to Face Crook. That's an outstanding name. He says, if Sony was able to afford to do the same exact show and show these same games, these ponies would be stomping their hooves. Hashtag facts. Listen, Face Crook's not necessarily wrong as far as I think Sony fans would like to see a show. But the thing about it is this: when you see in Forte, I want to
show, Mooch. We saw
Right?
it already.
What's
it was
that?
this generation. It was this generation. That was the show. I told Forte,
Yeah.
we know what we're gonna get with the PlayStation 5.
But why would you?
You know what you're gonna get.
If you know Everwild,
I don't know.
if
They
you know
got-
Everwild's
Possibly
coming on
cartridges.
on Scarlet, right? If Scarlet's going to give you Everwild and Grounded, okay, in the games we saw yesterday, well, why is anybody really encouraged? Eric, I'm going to go to you. Eric, are you encouraged to pull $500-$600 out of your pocket next November to pay for an upgraded Xbox?
No, I'm keeping the same level. I hate that term, keeping the same energy, but
I can't stand it either. But
I've been saying for the longest, like right now, I am the guy that is going to stay console. I'm not a PC guy, right? So
that's fair.
From what I'm seeing right now, everything that I have will still run on my X. I'm good with that. And I said I will not. I've spent too much on console hardware this generation, and I know. Remember, Mooch back in the day was always, "You're not Xbox enough." I'm like, bullshit. Check my receipts. I got plenty of money invested in Microsoft, but I said I'm not giving them another dime for another piece of hardware until I see the power behind the greatest console and the most powerful console with a game that actually shows that. Exactly. Yeah, they kind of did that with Gears 5, but that's not what I'm talking about. Right. I'm talking about that new thing that makes me salivate. The same reason I bought
there you go.
Because I saw Gears of War and I went, holy crap, I gotta have that.
And Xbot, that's what the Xbot, Eric just said it better than I could have, okay? He just said it right there. That's the thing. It's not to say that Everwild, I wouldn't mind Everwild and Grounded sprinkled in between. Let's just put it this way, just to put it in terms that people can understand. Where's Microsoft's Destiny, right? Where's Microsoft's Cyberpunk, right?
Let me say this, Mooch. Nick brought up Concrete Genie. I thought that was a great game. But if all there was Concrete Genie and there was no God of War, there was no other, I would have been like, what
there's
the hell?
no Days Gone, there's no Death Stranding.
But Concrete Genie in between all of that is like, this is fantastic. They're giving me that.
Can I chime in real quick? I think what Forte and Eric just said has summarized how I feel. I think how Mooch feels, how some of us in the community feel. I don't think we don't hate Xbox, but we want to see Xbox do well. And I think that's why we're so vocal about it.
If I hated Xbox, I would not give them any money. Let's be real.
But yeah, I wouldn't either. But I'm using Game Pass Ultimate on PC right now.
I think beyond myself, and I think about the gaming community, and I'm not just like, well, that wasn't for me, and that wasn't for me.
No. I don't agree with that at all.
I think you should
my gaming. I'm not thinking about that.
I think you should think about yourself though, because you know why? You're the one who's paying for this stuff. You're the one that's buying all this stuff.
I will buy and I will play what I like.
Right, exactly.
But when it comes down to it, I feel like I also I feel like I also have a
you should be thinking about yourself,
brother. No, I am a YouTuber. I am a YouTuber giving gaming news to an entire.
You're focused too much on the YouTube shit, dude. You need to focus more on what you're.
I'm focused on the community, brother, which is what you're supposed to be. That's what you're supposed to be doing, man.
I think what everyone here is asking.
You focus too much on that shit.
For Microsoft to bring out more new IP that's AAA.
Yeah,
that's what you guys are pretty much.
When are you going to show at XO? You know what I'm saying? A year before you're coming out with new hardware.
We said this about E3 as well.
About the double A's and the single A's. You know, I mean, I can see how they feel about that, but they want triple A's. Xbox, please, my friend. I love you, man. But please,
I love you too, brother.
But
Crossfire.
I think since Sony has a lot of triple A's that they make themselves, that they have studios, but they're for their exclusive console. We want to see more new AAA IP for the Xbox. That's what a lot of people want to see. The double A's and things like that are fine, but Microsoft needs to either bring back some of the best AAA's they had in the past, or bring us brand new ones that'll make our eyes explode. That's what people are really looking
for. That I paid $500 for.
Can I follow up?
The best system on the planet.
Go ahead, Enrique.
Can I follow up on what Sir Xbox just said? They haven't had a.
What?
Sir Xbox.
I mean, Sir Xbox. I'm sorry. There's a lot of X's in here. I'm sorry.
He can coin that.
There's a lot of X's in here. I'm sorry.
Say that one more time. I'm calling you Enrique again. Okay.
Hey! All I gotta say, Xbot, is that it's guaranteed to work 60% of the time, all the time.
Sex Panther.
Yeah. No. What Sir X-Men said is true. Like, they haven't had a genre-defining title. Think about this, guys. Since 2006. You know what that game was? Gears of War.
Gears of War.
Yeah.
Strangest thing. We're and I know people are like, oh, you guys are just Xbox. No, we are passionate about gaming. Look, I love the Xbox. I was an Xbox Live beta tester. I believe in Xcloud. I think Xcloud just gave an uppercut to Stadia. We'll get into that later on.
Hey, he was King Fugle of Stadia.
I didn't hear no bell.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I mean, like, and so this is what we're talking about. But again, I mean, they haven't had that genre-defining title. Like Sir X-Men said, people want more AAAs. We do. We want diversity in a big AAA experience. And look, like I think like what Eric was saying, like Concrete Genie. If it was just Concrete Genie, we'd be saying the same thing about PlayStation. We would. I mean, I know I would.
I know I would.
And I think all of us would.
Yep. Shout out to Phil Power.
PlayStation.
Is Sony real quick? Yeah, Enrique. He says, if Sony showed, these games as world premiere new games, I would be very disappointed because I have a PlayStation on a pedestal that Sony always maintained. I think what he's basically saying, if Sony did the same thing, he would have an issue with Sony. And we've been kind of tap dancing around it, guys. And believe me, the reason I've been doing that is because, boy, I'm gonna need a I don't know what, dunk in the cold tank after this, because it's gonna be me versus all you guys. But listen, right? And that's fine. I'm not saying you guys. First of all, I have to make a disclaimer. I am just as excited for Xcloud as everybody on the panel.
Let me get my phone and my controller. I'm gonna play it while you're talking.
There's no playing games during CrossFire. It's rule number one. Listen,
in Xbox, it's almost like a one-to-one experience, man. It's sorcery.
It's awesome.
Okay, no, there's no doubt about it. But what I don't really dig, the one thing that I don't dig that much is when people are automatically saying, well, there you go. It's 50 games to 12 games. Listen to that. Stadia is dead. You gotta slow down. That's not true. It's so not true. First of all, the 12 games.
Xcloud is still far out too.
Yes, there's such a small group of people using it.
Like, what are you talking about? Oh, they have 50 games.
Well,
okay,
Enrique,
but Stadia's got 12.
Stadia's 12
in
games
the next coming week.
If I said to you, Enrique, here's the 50 games from Xcloud and here's the 12 from Stadia, you got to hit the road for a week. You're taking Stadia's games. Period. Because let's be honest, those 50 games, a lot of them are like Vampire. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. It's like Tiddlywinks. Oh.
Yeah.
It's like nobody really, it's like, okay, great.
Tiddlywinks.
You know what I'm saying, man? It's like, it's right. I'm sorry. What?
But what about
that? But I mean, I'm just saying they're all really kiddie indie games. And I think that what it comes down to is you're going to see Stadia. And yes, I understand the criticisms. Stadia is not launching day one, next week with their all their promises. But if you read the article, it says that they have a plan that not every so often, every week they're launching one of their services. They're just getting it out there, okay? And the big release is next year. Listen, you guys want to go ahead and criticize me? Go ahead. I paid for a beta.
Oh, but Mooch, one of your arguments was which company is releasing their streaming first and which one is still in beta. But you paid for your beta.
You're an alpha. So listen.
No, it's a beta. It's a beta. No, it's a beta.
It's alpha. It's alpha.
No, it's still alpha, dude.
She called it alpha yesterday.
Dude, so, I got the acceptance. I am signed into the beta.
God damn it.
The email says beta.
I thought it said alpha.
Did Shannon Loftus call it alpha? Who called it alpha?
I thought it was the woman that could barely. She didn't have a good stage presence. Who was it? Whoever that was.
The nervous.
No, that wasn't Shannon.
Which one, dude?
The one that was on
because she's blowing lines.
The one that did Xcloud.
With the blue jeans on.
No, I'm talking about which one on EXO, because there was a ton of them that didn't know what the heck they were doing on that stage.
Oh God!
Yeah,
I'm not just talking about the females. I'm talking about the males too.
I really don't understand.
What the hell they were doing.
I just don't understand how people say that. Listen. You guys, listen. I don't care if we're talking about toasters or we're talking about streaming games. There's always a competitor. There's always a competitor. So if you guys think Xcloud's going to come out and they're going to be untouched, the thing about it is, if it was this Mickey Mouse little company, right, that came out and was like, we're going to go up against Xcloud and we can beat them, you just start going, yeah, okay, all right, sure. The thing about it is, this is Google, okay? They've got the infrastructure and they've got the cash. So what I don't understand is, boy, we're kind of laughing at the second largest giant in the world, okay, financially. This is not a situation. They've also pulled in, and Enrique, I'm going to give you the mic in a second. Yeah. I just want you to know they've pulled in some of the best talent from Nintendo and from Sony to do this. And it's not dead. There's still people, one typical goes DOA. It's got 10 years minimum on it. 10 years. I'm telling you right now, these people left their careers. They've moved their families to go work on this. Dude, if you don't believe me, listen to the third-party developers like Ed Boon and these guys, right? They were like, we saw the tech. We know it's legit. You guys are going to have to believe us when you play it. Otherwise, just take our word for it. And if you don't Okay, don't. My point being is these people are not. Do you think? I said this last night. Shout out to Kofi. That was a great Press Start podcast. Was outstanding last night. But I do want to say this much. So I was saying, if everybody on this panel tonight, okay, if everybody on this panel, if we all created a game together, do you think that we collaboratively would get together and say, let's go put our game on Stadia where it's going to run like shit? No, we wouldn't let that happen, right? These are big. You've got Red Dead Redemption 2, Mortal Kombat 11, okay, Destiny 2. Come on, man. These are 3 of the big boys out there. Okay, and you got Cyberpunk signed up. This is not a gimmick. It's not a joke. They're here. Now, you don't have to buy into it, and I'm not selling you. All I'm asking, this is the thing people have to understand. I'm not selling you guys. But the one thing you guys got to understand is it is going to be a valid competitor to Xcloud. And if you think it's not, I think that's where I think you're wrong. It's valid competitor.
Let me
I agree with
Let me chime in real quick. Well, Forte, go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'll go after Forte.
No, I agree with Mooch on that point because the biggest thing is right now everybody's in love with Xcloud because of like you said, glorified alpha beta that's going on that everybody's not even in yet. So we don't even know what the real life scenario of the service is going to be until pretty much they open it up and the floodgates hits it. Now we're still using Google Stadia as no one really knows how that's going to perform once it hits everybody, but it also is going to be on market first. So it's going to go through growing pains, but guess what? Over the course of time of them working and we getting all of the updates and stuff to it, it's going to get better and better. And depending on when Microsoft finally releases Xcloud to everybody, we don't know what state Google Stadia will be in at that point. And Google Stadia could be the best thing ever at that point. And by that time, there'll be way more. Because right now they're saying 50 games at launch for Xcloud. We don't know what Stadia is going to be at the point when Xbox finally releases this to the whole world. I mean, Stadia could be at plus 100 games by that time.
And I want to go one step further, guys. And I really do. Guys, chime in also. I want to hear Eric. I want to hear Nick.
Guys, I'm going to go in after Forte.
No, Enrique, you got the mic after this. But I'm just saying, my point is that, you know, this is a situation right now where Google is. Look, do you think you saw the media, right? You saw the media definitely go off and be like, Xcloud, wow, kill Stadia, blah, blah. You don't think this pisses off Stadia? Somebody who's up there went up higher and said, listen, I need that money. I'm going out and I'm going to do some dirty antics right now. They're going to go grab exclusive content. And you mark my words, it's going to be a lot big. And you know, you guys go, no, Mooch, how can you prove it? I'll prove it to you. And I know it's small right now. Darksiders Genesis is exclusive to Stadia 3 months before it comes to Xbox and Sony. And you might go, I don't care. Top-down shooter. Listen, it's a top-down shooter that people know about. Wait till they get their feet planted. They're going to grab a year of an exclusive game. No, again, I want to say, not GTA 6 caliber. Okay, not Cyberpunk. I get it. But it's going to be like an Evil Within 3 or something like that. Or maybe the next Assassin's Creed. Don't be shocked if that comes 2 months to Stadia first. They've got quite the handshake going on over there, okay? They are in deep with those folks. This is a big business deal. These guys realize that they can only compete with Xbox if they have something Xbox doesn't. And they can do that with capturing games. And one thing we used to say when it was Xbox versus Sony was, Mooch, you do realize Sony can't compete with Xbox when it comes to that kind of... Google can. And I'm telling you, they're going to play dirty.
Yeah,
so... Splinter Cell, I'm buying a Stadia.
Say again, X-Men?
If they get Splinter Cell, I'm buying a Stadia.
Well, listen, I can't wait to see you on there. Tell me what your username is soon.
As soon as it launches, playing Destiny on my Founders Edition.
Oh, boy. So here's the thing, and I'm not saying that Google's going to be DOA, but I do think that from a PR or marketing perspective or optics, if you will, they have some issues. And the issues, some of the key features they talked about that I think you mentioned, Mooch, are not going to be available at launch, right?
Will be in 4 to 6 weeks.
This seems more like a soft launch, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so that's the thing. Like people are funny about that. Like we saw this with, if you go back to 2013 with Microsoft, you go back to last, when Sony told us to get a second job.
Yep.
You have one time to get it right. And they may not be getting it right. Now I'm not saying that it's DOA.
But the reason
I will say this.
The reason I think, Enrique, that they don't, and I want you to finish your statement, but the reason I think it's a little different than 2013, I just got to put this caveat in there, is it's different because we were talking about consoles. Consoles, right? The console war had been started back in the late 70s, early 80s, okay? ColecoVision, crying out loud. My point being is, this is new tech. If we're going to go ahead and give Microsoft all these brownie points for being alpha, beta, omega, gamma, okay, and all these other different trials they're going to have, Stadia coming out with a soft launch and the free one coming out next year, it's the same. You got to give them the same slack. They just didn't. They maybe didn't sell it right,
brother. If they allow you, hold on, real quick. If they allow you to play your Game Pass subscription streaming through Xcloud, it's a done deal, bro. Done deal.
But you're going to that. You're going to be able to play. They already said that. That's my point.
It's a done deal, then, man.
You have. Here's the thing. You have one shot to make an impression, and like you mentioned, like some of the features are going to be on a couple weeks. Other features they said, oh, like maybe the end of the year, sometime next year. They don't know, right? And the thing is they've come out. They've been on the big stages, E3. They did a big reveal and everything. And again, I'm not saying it's DOA, but I'm saying optics matter here, and we know that from previous console generations or previous launches. And the thing is when I look at Xcloud. And what I thought Stadia was going to be, I thought Stadia was going to be like a Netflix of gaming. And to me, that's where I'm like, wow, that's the value with Netflix.
I don't want that. That's the thing. How many subscriptions are we going to buy into, guys?
I get that. But there's something to be said to be able to stream all my games in Game Pass and potentially my library, because that's going to happen at some point.
Okay, so
everything that I own.
Enrique, you love talking big business, and guys, please do chime in. I want everybody in the podcast to chime in. Nick, if you got something to say, I want to hear it. But like, do you guys honestly think that they don't know? Well, now they definitely know. They made it public yesterday. Xcloud is going to be able to stream Game Pass. You don't think that they're reaching out, maybe with, I don't know, Steam or Epic, or they're working with this company or that company or Square Enix or Capcom, and they're not going to get an exclusive library? Maybe they're going to do the same thing on Stadia. We don't know. There's no way Google's going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to compete with Xcloud. And by the way, Xcloud's going to give you 200 games for 99 cents and we're going to charge you $60. Dude, that's the worst business model. That's like if you open a pizza place across from a pizza place, but your pizza place is about $80 a pie. It don't work.
I'm not saying it's DOA. I'm saying the optics, and my eyebrows are raised. And then when I hear developers say, "Hey, we're not concerned about the tech, we're concerned whether or not," and this was published in Ars Technica had an article about this. We are concerned whether Google's going to see this through or not.
Okay, may I?
I got to chime in on this because Mooch, you're talking about Google big money, right?
Yes.
So if Google has all this money, which they do, they have a absolute mountain load of cash. No one here will deny that. If you were going to show off and really flex that big money, wouldn't you want to do that with the launch of your product?
Yes.
They came to the E3 stage and they were a huge presence there, and they had all eyes on them because they were this new piece of tech. They showed off Baldur's Gate 3, which had me hugely excited, and everything else. But there's nothing special that they are doing. There's no, as we were just talking about with Xbox, there's no game that's like, I have to have this.
Yeah.
Like,
hold on, they got guilt.
Hold on. We lynched Sony and Microsoft. We lynched Sony in PS3 era. We lynched Microsoft in the Xbox One and the OG Xbox era. Show us why this matters. And Stadia and saying they'll show us down the road is a cheap out. That's a cop out to me. And to me, when you go on an E3 stage and you promise all these features and everything else, you went to the public and you said, these are the features that are coming, and then your product does not reflect that to your general consumer. If, for example, if you pre-ordered Stadia off of that E3 conference and then never saw that Polygon article about all the things that Stadia isn't launching with, you're going to get Stadia day one, or if you do get Stadia day one, because we have to hand deliver them, apparently.
Oh boy.
If we're gonna do this, like, it just seems lackluster. Like if you're like, I don't know how big Google is in terms of size, but it's like easily top 3 largest companies in the world. You can't tell me that. Like, they're massive. You can't tell me the best you could do is Destiny 2, okay? Like, you're trying to
yeah, but Nick, listen, I used to sound like you with that too, but you do have to understand something. Even when you are as big as Google and as big as Microsoft, okay, it's not so easy to just go out there and start cutting checks like you're talking about, because when you want to go grab a big game, let's just say use Cyberpunk for example.
Microsoft had Halo.
I mean, you're probably talking about like, like probably $250 million to lock it down, because what you're telling them is that you don't want it on Xbox and Sony, and they're going to make a fortune. So that's, even when you're a big boy, what big companies hate to do more than anybody? They hate losing money too, So, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I know where you're coming from. I do think they should have made a bigger splash. That I'm riding with you all the way to the end on that one. I'm not really impressed with their first splash, but here's what I'm saying. Right now, their competitor is Xbox. Okay, now they're in a beta as of the last 18 hours, okay? But they were in an alpha before that. They were looking at them saying, okay, Xbox, and look at what Xbox is really offering. Right? That, by the way, everybody that's excited about Game Pass coming to Xcloud, that's definitely the latter part at best of 2020. So Google's like, we have a while till they really launch that weapon. So we have from now till then to make a contract. Well, listen, they can make a contract and do some business with people.
Man, when you are dedicated, Mooch, you are dedicated to the end.
I just think it's a viable option. I don't see how.
Look, man, y'all can't be jumping on Mooch like that.
Let me throw this out there. I understand
real quick.
I understand. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, if you have Android, you can get the Xbox streaming app. I play my games at work with a controller when I get a good signal or I connect to a Wi-Fi. My friends at work are amazed that I can go right to my dashboard and play every Xbox game, every new game. I can play Battlefield 4 on my phone at work. But
who wants to have an Android?
Nobody has.
I have an Android, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can play your games.
Apple all the way, baby.
It asks you to sync your controller up and everything. And I'm sitting there playing my game, and all my friends are amazed. One of my friends had a PS4. He's like, I can't do this on PS4. But I could do it on my phone.
So wait, is that a new? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Is that a newer service from Xbox, Sir X-Man?
From what I hear, it's been there a while. They just extended it now to use. They extended it now to use your phone data.
PlayStation 4 had that like day one.
Phone data. Right, but I don't think
you can on PlayStation 4
within the house.
Yeah, within the house. But with the Xbox preview app, stream preview app, you can take it anywhere. And if you sync it to a Wi-Fi, like at a Starbucks or something like that, you can play your games with no lag whatsoever. I do get a little lag when I'm in the wrong area at work, but when I'm in the right area, it works fine.
So who on the panel right now?
Bowling, all that.
Who on the panel right now is in the alpha/beta of Xcloud?
Oh, it's the beta. I'm in the beta.
Me. I'm in the beta.
Has anybody?
I'm in a third world country of Canada.
Xbox.
They're screwed.
He's in the left.
Xbox hasn't found you yet, Nick.
How do we even allow you guys to be a country?
Yeah, I don't even know how you're on this podcast, Nick. How'd you manage to? Oh, that's right. Google loves you. Right. So listen, I got news for you. So wait. So who's actually using? And I want to do one at a time here because I would like to get a little bit of a consensus. I think the audience would like to hear this too. Enrique, have you put time into your Xcloud experience?
It is sorcery. It is seriously. It's a damn impressive piece of technology. I came in with low expectations. And I was blown away. I will say this though, my 10-year-old, I was playing Killer Instinct, Gears 5.
And what device?
And I have an Android, Galaxy S9 Plus.
Okay.
And my 10-year-old wasn't feeling it. He was like, "No, I'd rather play on the Switch." My 5-year-old was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Like he was like, "I want to play it." But it's damn impressive. Like seriously, like, and now that they've added more games. I haven't tried the other games because since yesterday they've added a bunch of other games to Xcloud. But from what I played, I mean, it's damn impressive. Like I was not like I heard people talking about it at E3, but when I experienced it and I use it on my T-Mobile 4G LTE,
okay,
it felt 101. Like it's damn impressive. Like I was shocked.
I played Destiny on the game stream preview, and my son, I was doing it. I was in a Starbucks playing Destiny too. And they was like, "Are you playing Destiny on your phone? Wow, is that an app on?" No, I'm playing it through my Xbox. They were amazed how good it looked. It was incredible, dude. That game stream preview.
Yeah, to Sir X-Men's point, I was talking to Cognito about it, and he was streaming from his Xbox to his phone at work. He's playing Outer Worlds, and he was like, it was amazing.
So let me ask you this. So here's the thing, guys. Okay, so when I'm hearing from, and just so you guys know, I never promote IGN, but IGN is one of the only channels right now. I noticed it just before I went live tonight. IGN
no media bias.
They did right. Yes, that's correct. They're the father of it. But no, right, Enrique. But no, here's my thing. Hold up, real quick. Right? So IGN did an unboxing of the Stadia Founders Edition controller, and then they had, now, I don't know why, but the guy who was, Ryan McCaffrey was there with somebody else. The somebody else wasn't the guy that actually played it, but he could speak for me. He goes, I was with him last night, or I know the guy really well. One of the other guys from IGN is testing it out. They spent a full 2 or 3 days with Google. This is all going to be launching in the next 7 days or so. They have their first that's really going to explode on it. And he said, listen, from what I heard, so-and-so, I can't remember his name, and no example. I think his name was Nick or something like that. No, but he said Nick played it last night, and he said once he got it up and running, he said, all I could tell you is, he said it was damn near flawless. So this was Stadia. So my point being is, let's do apples for apples, folks, right? If we're going to let's give Microsoft and Google the benefit of the doubt that these technologies are working, okay? And so now it comes down to the games. And I do think, we've all said this, Xbox has a leg up. Xbox has been in the game business since 2004, 2005, right? Or 2001, pardon me. So, I mean, my point being is they got a leg up. But realistically, it's what have you done for me lately, right? That's sports, it's video games, it's everything, okay?
Madden.
Xbox, well, right. Xbox ended 360 very strong, and we saw what happened, as Enrique pointed out earlier, in 2013. What I'm saying to you guys is this. There's going to always be a competitor, okay? You guys ever walk out of Dunkin' Donuts and look across the street and there's a Starbucks? Why? Why would you have 2 coffee places touching each other? But they do, because they can coexist and they can compete, okay? Now, sometimes it's price, and sometimes it's quality. And the one thing you do have to understand right now is Xbox is using the power of Xbox One S to back up your what Sir X-Man's doing, and to back up what Xcloud's doing. Okay, Google's using whatever it is, 10.7 teraflops of power. Right, they're giving you 4K. Now, a lot of people are gonna go, I don't care. I call horse shit. I think you do care. And they can continue to back that up. Microsoft can too, but their infrastructure is built on Xbox One S's. And I'm telling you, they're not going to pull the plug on that tomorrow. So brother, you're already 4K, coming out the gate with more power coming from Google.
Their 4K is locked behind a subscription, though.
As of right now, maybe that's something that they drop.
They need to.
I'm just saying.
They should do that.
They might. I will say this, Mooch. The thing that they need to have, though, that my biggest criticism also of Stadia, they don't have that killer app that you can only play on Stadia. They don't have that, and I feel like if any,
they do. That's a Stadia exclusive. GY.
I know, but I would have never thought of Guild as like the killer app that I have to have.
The real shout out to the real.
But they don't have that though, Mooch. They don't have that killer app.
They don't have it right now, but it's a soft launch. They've got, and I understand that you guys are saying this is the thing I don't get. We sat here right now for the first half of the show, and Xbot was there with his pitchfork and knife defending Everwild. Okay.
Oh, it wasn't a knife; it was a torch.
Okay, a torch, right? And now you
defending Japanese culture.
Guilt and Darksiders Genesis, and there's another one that's Orcs. Don't get me wrong; these are smaller games. I get it, but Google's coming out and saying not only do we have these games that we're giving you, the AAA games that are the bangers like Red Dead Redemption 2, Mortal Kombat, Destiny. Okay, we're also throwing in these 3. Listen, we're just getting our feet off the ground. Here's 3 exclusives. One's going to be timed that everybody's going to play on PS4 and Xbox, but we have it for 3 months first. And 2 others from our smaller studios that we got that could put these games out. What I'm seeing is I'm seeing them make the attempt. It's not like they just started off with just Red Dead and just Destiny. That's it. Sorry, guys. We'll see you in February. I think there's something here. Now, I want to hear, Eric, because you've been a little bit quiet on this, and I know that I think because you have proclaimed yourself as a console guy, which I think most of us are 90% of the time.
Right.
Where are you? I mean, you're definitely probably, if you had to go put your money down on a Russian roulette table right now, you'd probably say, you know what? I'm going to go and put my money on Xcloud. But do you see where there's room in the competitive space? There's probably nobody that's going to be able to compete with Microsoft except Google at this state and time. And, right, they don't just have the money, but they also have the infrastructure, right? Because, everyone likes to make fun of YouTube, but YouTube TV's almost kicking cable's rear end, which I can't believe, but they're doing a decent job of trying to be the runner-up. And they've got the infrastructure. So, I mean, realistically, where are you on this everything on streaming, not just Stadia, but everything?
Yeah, I still, from like the last time I was on, I still stand on the wait and see. Yes. But if gun to my head, if I had to back one right now, you're like, let's do this or I'm blowing your brains out, I'd be back in Xcloud, only for the fact that I don't trust Google to stick with anything.
See, I don't get that though, Eric. Everybody keeps saying that, but Microsoft had Zune, Windows Phone, Groove Music. I mean, how much more? We can keep going. I mean,
yeah, but I didn't get into any of those, man.
Well, that's right, but that's the thing though. Like, we can't say that. I mean, Apple almost went out of business. They're number one.
But those were also, a lot of those were also hardware. Those are also hardware, outings that they were working on. Google, from a software standpoint, they will take something away for no particular reason. Something that people were using and it was effective and they liked it. And they're like, you know what? We're just done with it. I
don't know, man. I see, the thing is I see so many people, and shout out to Slow-Mo's in the chat and one typical DOA, it's dead. I don't think people are giving it a shot.
No, I'm not saying that it's DOA or it's dead in water. Like I told you last time, Mooch, I will sit and watch and see what they do with it.
Let me ask you guys a question, right? You guys all know this, right? I think Coca-Cola, right? Just cola in general. So there's Coca-Cola, there's Pepsi, right? Okay, thank you. Oh, you just proved my point. And then there's RC. RC's got, and no offense, Enrique, RC's got nothing on Pepsi and Coca-Cola. But let me tell you something. They didn't go nowhere. They're still on everybody's supermarket shelf. What I'm saying to you is streaming, if we're going to go ahead and all sit here and go, stream is the future, and there's like a whole mob of people, right? Well, how can we think that there's going to be
Stadia's
streaming?
Like Jolt?
What if Stadia comes out?
Yeah, you remember Jolt Cola?
In this case, though, the thing is, there's only two players in this game. So there's only Coca-Cola and Pepsi, right? So right now, Stadia is not even RC. They're Pepsi. So you can't really tell Pepsi people they don't belong drinking Coca. They don't belong in the cola race.
So Mooch, who's Jolt Cola?
I think
that's what I'm saying. There isn't one. There's only two people playing the streaming game right now. I mean, I know Steam's out there.
But don't you think that Microsoft has an advantage, like that they're not using Linux and Google's using Linux? So from a development standpoint, and I don't know if maybe Nick can comment on this or anyone else in the panel, but that's one of the things that I've heard. The concern that like this is a Linux-based situation, and you have to code differently. And isn't that kind of an advantage for Microsoft from a development perspective?
It's funny, and I want to hear anybody that actually has that software engineer. So probably Slow-Mo's got something to say on this. But I mean, like I'll be honest with you. Like, do I think it's more work? Yes. Do I think it's a lot of work? I don't. I really don't. Like,
ride or die,
hey, no. Xbox, let me ask you, does Red Dead Redemption 2 remind you of Qbert? No! It's a big game, right? It's not Frogger. It's a big game. All of a sudden, you're telling me Red Dead Redemption 2 just pops on Stadia because it's really difficult? No, man. Listen, is it more work? Initially, until they get some sort of a kit out there that they can actually code over quickly. Right? Google's got some money. They can hire people to do that. They've got big games on there right now. They've got Cyberpunk coming next year. Right?
Yes. Yeah,
and no one's talking about this stuff. They've got all the big games that are coming next year. Avengers. That's all coming to Stadia. So what I'm saying to you guys is this. I'm not selling you. People in the chat still going, oh, Mooch, take the L. I'm not taking anything. I'm not selling anything. What I'm saying to you guys is I don't see how we can all ride together and be like, I'm going to try this streaming thing out. But not those streamers. Not that one. Why not? What is that?
Because you have to rebuy your games, man. That's
Not if you
why.
didn't buy it
Mooch.
there in the first place. No, you don't. It'll be the first purchase. Go ahead.
Mooch. Slow-mo
We
has
don't
a
serve your
Slow-mo.
kind
Go to
around here.
What is
Slow-mo has.
got?
Slow-mo says. Slow-mo backs up. Says more work is enough to make a developer say, "Nah, I got enough work as it is."
I mean, he's not necessarily wrong, but you know what's funny? I don't know if you guys all work with folks, but if you work with people that say, "Man, this has been a shitty long week. Oh my god. Hey, you want to work? You want to work Saturday? No, I'll pay you double. I'll see you Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
You know, so it's about that green, guys. These guys are gonna pay, and and when you pay, people work. You know, and that's the
they're
thing.
gonna pay. They're gonna.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna pay. Oh
down
yes.
the road.
Listen, did you hear what I'm saying, Xcloud? I am not saying Google's getting away with this cheap. And when I say they're gonna play dirty, I mean they gotta open up that checkbook. If
Dude,
they
already
don't,
they're already playing dirty with the gamers by putting 4K behind a subscription and having you buy the games.
no,
on
I don't
Stadia
think
again,
I don't
man.
think they are when
They're
their
already
competitor.
playing dirty on the game.
No, the competitor doesn't offer it. So if they don't offer
Yeah,
it,
but why put it behind a paywall though? Like, why not just
That-
be like, hey, you know what?
Because
We
most
give you
people
4K for
don't-
free.
go ahead,
Because
Forte.
most people don't care about the 4K option. They just want the
There it is.
superior entry. It's free.
So if they don't care off the bat, right? And does anybody know what Xcloud is actually putting out? Is it 720p, right?
720p, yeah.
The free subscription, the free one. Ready, guys? Free. The free
But on a-
one on
but on a
Stadia
phone,
is
though,
1080p.
I'm running 1080p on my phone when I'm streaming, Mooch. It's showing
What?
1080p. Yeah. When I stream from my Xbox, when I put in the game, it's showing 1080p, dude.
On your
Well, no,
phone.
that's
On my phone. I got an OLED screen
Hold on.
on my
Forte, what
Well,
are you saying?
That's the console streaming. Console streaming will stream at 1080p depending on your
Okay.
system at home.
Yeah, and my
Okay.
phone, when I tap it, it says 1080p. It can
Yeah.
show
Yeah,
me
but-
what it is.
But from the server though, so,
Oh no, I have a high
even if funny though, you don't really notice it on the phone. Like it still looks good on the phone.
yeah, it does.
You gotta remember your smaller screen, so it's like, you know,
Right. All the pixels are.
I got a
pushed
6.7
together.
phone, so I mean it's a big phone.
Well, listen, guys, this is not the end, folks. This is the tip of the iceberg, right? I mean, we've got, right? Google Stadia comes out in a week. Xcloud's going to be in Gamma soon, or whatever's
Yeah.
next.
Mooch, you got to remember though, the bigger the size of the game,
Yes.
the more bandwidth you're gonna have to eat through to show that game.
That's
You know what I'm
fine.
saying? So, but for a lot of people, who
I don't
have
pay these
that-
high taxes in New York for nothing.
See, that's what we were just talking about with.
which I'm in Maryland, taxes suck.
They do it. They're terrible, but you probably got great internet, Enrique.
I'm in
Well,
Tennessee.
No.
taxes suck. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with Xbox was saying about, play for yourself, because you're right, it's gonna kill some people when it comes to that data cap, but for me, I ain't gotta worry about that.
I ain't got no data cap either.
Yeah, I don't got to worry about that, but I do understand that that's an issue. But that's an issue across
I
the
got
board for
Comcast.
streaming, right? Let me
that's
go
a
here, guys. I want to switch
Yeah.
subjects here real quick, guys. Tell me what you guys think about this. And I know Enrique did a big piece on it on BRAP. Kojima's comments, right? You did a before and after, Enrique.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, he came out and made he said, here's the thing. I don't want to actually say this because from the update, things have changed. The translator, the way it was translated, made it sound like he was, kind of making a jab at the type of genre games that Americans like. But after the update, it doesn't seem that was quite the truth. So where are we right now, Enrique, on that update? Because I know that you had done a before and after.
Yeah, so basically, so the translation was, I think that people got really upset where the original translation, which was done through Google Translation, was that, his game flies higher than first-person shooters, which, he said Americans typically like. And the actual translation was not that. It was something to the effect that, he thinks that maybe or perhaps the review is a little more critical because Americans tend to like first-person shooters more, and this might not be their cup of tea, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, by the way.
Right.
So I don't think I don't think it was a I've been following Kojima for since my first experiences in Metal Gear. And I saw a lot of people say that, he's conceited, he's racist. I don't think he was. And context is important too. That's the other thing. Like, we don't know, we don't know the question. Like, did they ask him, like, what was your opinion of reviews? Blah blah blah. Like, and if he's giving his opinion, well, maybe perhaps reviews thought that maybe action adventure games and first person shooters, maybe this is not their cup of tea, and maybe that's why it received more harsh criticism. To me, that was kind of more my interpretation of how he answered the question.
Yes.
But context is important here, and everyone jumped on him, on Kojima. He's racist. He's this. He's that. He thinks all Americans are dude bros. And it's funny, like, some of us in BRAP were like, you know what? It was probably mistranslated, which it was. Let's not jump to conclusions. Mooch, and this is the one time I'll be critical of the media.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This might be my favorite Crossfire. Go ahead.
They probably should have waited. And this is the problem with the 24/7 news cycle.
Yes.
They should have waited until they got proper translation before making that story. But a story with Hideo Kojima criticizing Americans
that's
is
big
nice
money.
Clickbait. It's big money. Like and it's a one time you'll hear me talk about clickbait, as you know. But I, honestly, like, I don't think he was purposely trying to insult Americans. I don't think that. Like, I've seen this guy.
I don't either. I mean, and I think you just made a hell of a point. I do want to ask Nick. Nick's like our resident, journalist. I'll be honest with you. And I mean, Nick, when you look at the before and after, okay, there was a lot of sharp criticism. Enrique just put it all out there. What was your take from the beginning to where we are today? I do lean myself personally, after seeing the update, I do lean a little bit with what Enrique is reporting and saying that I think it was mistranslated, and I think they probably should have waited or had it triple checked before they printed it.
There's a lot of complicated things.
Hold on, Nick. I'm not getting your feed. Can you talk? Are you close to the mic?
Is this better? I'm trying to adjust my volume.
No, keep saying something.
Better? Maybe?
No, it sounds like you're like 2 rooms away.
Hold on. Give me 5 seconds.
We'll give you time.
Better?
No, he's still
Keep
low.
saying something. I'm gonna put you on as high as I can on Discord.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're better now.
Okay, there we go. I know I was tin canning a lot at the start. I had to adjust some mic settings. So the biggest problem with Japanese developers is that a lot of media sites, and I don't mean this as a knock against media sites, a lot of media sites in North America are ill-equipped to deal with Japanese. I actually, in high school, I took Japanese as a second language. I don't know it very well anymore, but it is a very, very complicated and difficult language to understand, with many words having variants of meanings within the same word. So sometimes the term loss in translation really applies to Japanese as well. We've seen it with interviews for people like Yoko Taro and everything else. It's happened before. So it's always important when something like this comes up to take it with a grain of salt. When the original quote came out, I thought it was a little on the pretentious side, but it's really hard to argue when Call of Duty and NBA 2K are the top 2 best-selling games on NPD after they've only been out for a month.
Right.
So it's really easy to see that his original criticism, I kind of get. Was he trying to insult your average Joe American? No, he has made more of a commentary on what kind of games. Like, you can even look at the games that sold well. If you look at the PlayStation digital downloads for October, for example, top 10 games were like Destiny, blah, 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 Call of Duty, et cetera, et cetera. You go to the European ones, Medieval was one of the top downloaded games on PSN. So you're seeing a variance region to region on what people choose to play. And I think he was more making a commentary on that. I don't think he was directly trying to crap on IGN's review or saying that Americans weren't intelligent enough to understand his game or anything like that. I think that's something that's been perpetuated on social media by fanboys and that have taken quotes from him and used it to construe it to their own way of being like, well, if you don't like Death Stranding, you just don't understand it because you're dumb. And I think people were trying to run with those two separate narratives and merge them into one. Is Kojima a racist? No. Was he mistranslated and misquoted? Yes. This has happened how many times with this man in the past 3 years? Is that he's been mistranslated or misquoted or anything else? It's just something that happens, and people need to take everything with a grain of salt. Just because it's breaking news doesn't mean it's 100% correct all the time. And just people need to remember that.
Can I just say something real quick? Real quick, Ian, I'll let you talk, man. But like the whole like people like saying that he's conceded. I'll say this: there was an article in 2013-14 GameSpot where Kojima actually came out and said that he was jealous of Grand Theft Auto 5, that it was better than better than Metal Gear Solid 5, and what he could do in terms of open world. So somebody who's conceded. Somebody who looks down on Western developers, whatever, I saw that narrative running around, wouldn't say that about Grand Theft Auto 5.
Right.
Which is a shooter, right? And so I bring that point up because people just ran with this, and it's like, and wanted to villainize him. And I've never seen him in the, the first Metal Gear game I played was, I think I was, in 5th grade, 1988.
Yeah.
So I've been following him for years.
I'm right there with
I've
you.
never seen him
be
conceited like that. And speaking of Japanese culture, Xbot, that's not how they behave by nature, unless you're maybe Itagaki or the guy from Platinum Games. But anyhow, Kimiya, yeah, but that's not how they behave. He's been very gracious on stage. In interviews, and even giving props to Rockstar. So I just felt like people just really just got, oh my God, I can't believe he said this, and ran with it. And I think that's the nature of social media. It's an emotional platform. I think a lot of people just take things without thinking about and critically thinking and fact checking things and just run with it. So that's just my 2 cents.
It's been this way on social media for a while. They always say negativity sells.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Negativity sells. So positive really does not sell.
Nobody wants to hear the positive side.
Right. It's like in movies. The negativity part of the movie will sell more than the positive part of a movie. Always has, always will be. The bad guy, everybody say, okay, good guy. What's the bad guy look like? What kind of criminal is
That's true. The news.
Right. The news cycle. You always see bad things on the news. They rarely show any good thing on the news. And when they do, it's usually at the end of the newscast.
That's true, man.
Right. So it's the same thing in media. Bash Xbox. It's a popular thing. Give Sony
bad news sells. That's just the way it is. Like nobody's if the news or even your local news reported just rainbows and sunshine, no one's tuning in.
Mooch,
you gotta have the ponies with the rainbows.
That's true. Go ahead.
Like how many times do we see like the Weather Channel and they're like, oh my God, the storm's terrible. And then you really
and don't get me started on the weather.
Yeah, and then,
I could do a whole bit on this. Have you ever seen the smile that weathermen give when there's a torrential downpour or a storm coming in, a nor'easter?
Oh, Mooch.
I've never seen people smile like that.
How much?
Mooch, in Florida, they're rubbing their nipples when a hurricane comes.
Right?
No rain. When they go into the bad stuff, they tell you where it's coming from, how much precipitation.
Sir X, man, outstanding point in E. What you just said, we get the opposites. You got that in Florida. The minute a nor'easter's come, 2 feet of snow, you could see those. You could see all the smile from ear to ear. I'm like,
they're like giving each other hickeys.
I'm like, who the hell's just excited that they got a shovel for 6 hours tomorrow?
And as soon as his segment's over, he walks off. I knocked it out the park.
Right.
I was like, who's
Nick, you're about to say something?
Who's shoveling this dude's driveway? Go ahead, Nick. Was somebody going to speak? I
think Nick said something.
I think Nick was trying to say something.
I said, if you ever want to know sales, I've been writing for websites for 3 years. I've never had a positive piece blow up. I've had one positive piece blow up in my whole life.
See,
But
I was
the,
right.
the biggest thing is how much does media rely on negative news to sell? Look at when Joker came out and CNN went, it'd be a real shame if someone shot up a theater. You could just tell they wanted it to happen.
And you know, Enrique, me and Enrique have this back and forth with the media. And, you know, don't get me wrong, you know, this has got nothing to do with the old school rivalry there, Enrique. But, you know, the media literally does capitalize on negativity. I mean, that's something we'll all agree on, I believe.
Like right now, the Cali shooting, they seem disappointed that 2 died.
Dude,
right?
Like that
and not some massive number. And I'm like, no, 2 is still a number that we shouldn't have.
We listen, the way it is, we don't want to lose 1.
Okay? Exactly.
So I don't understand.
I mean, let's look at Popeye's chicken. The Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Oh, that's terrible.
No one's talking about how great the sandwich is. They're talking about people getting beat up.
Yeah, but the media's eating it up.
Yeah.
You know?
They couldn't wait.
I mean, Popeye's chicken hasn't done 1 commercial. They don't have to. They're on everybody's 6 o'clock news.
Our chicken is so good, we'll shoot you for it.
Right? It's crazy. Guys, listen. I want to stay on the Kojima thing, but this is something in Xbox. Guys, in case you guys are wondering, Xbox writing me. He was having a hard time. Xbox, if you can hear, jump out and then back into Discord. I will try and get you back in. He was having a hard time with his mic. He's writing me, but
why it was so quiet.
Yeah, that's why. Because you know Xbox is not going to not comment.
Yeah, I was surprised he was so quiet.
He's having a problem with his mic. But guys, you know, so
Mooch,
interesting. Go ahead, E.
No. You saying I was talking to Enrique about the Kojima thing, and I said, look, man, I'm seeing this perspective from people on Twitter, like they're going in on the dude, right? Because that's what we like to do. We like to get it like a dog with a bone, right? And they're saying he's egotistical, he's this, he's that, he's just pissed off his game didn't do well. And it's like his game's doing fine, and they're just pissed off because not everybody's giving him 10s and giving him all the love, and that's the ego. And I'm like, if you don't know what it feels like to be a creator, and that's what I said, I'm seeing YouTubers on here saying these things. I'm like, you guys create. You feel some kind of way when you get downvotes. You feel some kind of way when someone craps on your work and on your video.
Absolutely.
Everybody has a bit of an ego in that. So imagine if you have millions of people, you know, good and bad, coming at you, right? If you're working fries at McDonald's, how would you feel if you had 1 million people line up outside to come in and tell you how shitty you are on making fries?
That's right.
All day long.
That's right.
You are the worst, right? You're going to feel some kind of way. So even with that, I'm like, yeah, there's going to be some ego when you present yourself. I'm a designer. I'm a photographer. I don't have nearly the client base. So but every time I present to somebody, it is one of the hardest things I have to do. And I've been doing it for 20 plus years.
That's right.
And it never stops. Anytime I slide something across the table to somebody or I email somebody, I sit back with like my heart pumping, like, are they going to like it?
That's right.
You know why this is? Because there's no more, I'm serious. It's just, I'm not trying to go on the way the world is, but there's really no more politeness in the world anymore. It's gone the way it used to be when I was growing up, the way Mooch is growing up.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We're up there. And the way this society is now, everything negative is a great thing. Anything positive, how often do you see anybody say anything nice to somebody?
Oh, it's rare.
Very rare, man.
It's not the way it used to be. So the media catches on to that, and it's been passed on. Now it's a locked tradition in this day and age.
Yep. Shout out to one typically says Kojima's games speak for themselves anyways. You know, I think if you like Kojima, and by the way, X-Man, I want to say that those are some extremely valid points. And I think that's why, you know, we always used to say this when we were growing up, right? You know, listen, guys, if you're younger and you're listening, you know, respect your elders. And I don't mean us. I mean the elders. Respect
Especially
your
when
elders.
We're playing games, Mooch.
Amen, right? Amen. But I mean, realistically, right? But I think
perfect
it's
example,
like,
which you got 9 downvotes already. And it's like,
I know, right?
What has been said here that really aggravated somebody to the point to give you the downvote?
Reality. That's why we got the downvote, the reality part.
Listen, I got
Mooch, I start podcast. Before I start podcast, I got downvotes. I'm like, well, I even started streaming yet.
Mooch had 2 before we even said one word.
That's the way it is. You know, people just do that. They'll stop by. They just drop it down, and on their way, they're like, just here to drop a downvote. That's all right.
They think it's hurting you. They think it's hurting you, which is funny, which it doesn't.
It's not. No.
Let me run in, print the downvote, then I can go back and play Jeff.
Right.
Guys, speaking of that, hit the like button, will you? Come on, let's do this. Real quick, I do want to talk about this, guys, because it was a topic of debate when we were getting into the whole Gears of War. Then we got into Death Stranding, and everybody goes, well, you know what? Mooch, you guys could take your Gears of War, and you could take your Death Stranding, and you can shove it. Because you know what's coming out? Jedi Fallen Order. And that's got 97.5 written all over it. And I'm like, all right, well, let's just take it easy.
Until they realize EA made the game. Then
Well, listen, Sir X Man, good on you to bring that up, but I got news for you, right? So this game it's funny because when you hear people review this game, it sounds eerily similar to the reviews from Death Stranding. And what I mean is this. People say, this is a Star Wars game I've always wanted. This is a love letter to all the Star Wars fans. When I got that saber in my hand, the way the game felt, the mechanics, that is what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
But for some reason, this didn't work out, and I didn't care for this so much, and I got stuck in this one area, and I had to restart that. I had to load that again. 83. And it's like, what? Well, how the hell did we go from a love letter to an 83? Now, we are talking about a game that everybody said, I don't care what you say about Death Stranding. Right? But this game right now is sitting at an 83. That was before the show started.
Really?
It's at an 83, and so is Death Stranding. So, what is it that you guys, where do we go from here, guys? I've said this for a long time. You know what I think we should do? I think we should kind of take meta, like kind of bundle it up, put it into one of those capsules, dig a hole, put it in there, bury it, and we'll see you guys in 100 years. Actually, we won't. Our kids will, right?
At an 84 now.
Is that a whopping 84? So, yeah. I mean, that's my hope, right? So, listen, this is me too. This is me a problem. But if you get anywhere from an 80 to an 85, in my world, not you guys, not on the panel, not in the chat, not listening later. In my world, an 80 to an 85, we're in the same world. Like, you're not going to, right? One kid comes home with an 84 on the test. The other kid comes home with an 82. Is the 82 kid grounded for the weekend? No, he's not.
I always think, to me, that's a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 is a good game.
Absolutely.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that. But I mean, where are we right now? And I want to hear, you know what I mean? E, what do you think? Or anybody chime in. Dark, you guys chime in and just tell me what's going on. I mean, can we even use meta anymore? Can we use it?
Well, let me.
We got great Pupon reviewers out there now, man. Like this is I don't know what it is, man.
Well, from what I'm seeing is that they're wanting to still give their honest opinion about a game, but then also bash it for the clicks. That's what it seems like.
Like I said about the negativity.
Yeah.
For that negative little negative thing to say something about a game. For me personally, I've been playing Star Wars. Actually, I've been playing the Star Wars throughout this whole podcast. I know, Mooch, that's a big no-no.
Huge no-no.
You're gonna slap me on the hand later, I know, but
we would have never known.
I wonder why Goldblum was so quiet.
but that's the thing. Like this is the Star Wars game I've been wanting. This is the Star Wars game that I've always hoped would actually come to fruition, and it finally is. I mean, they're taking elements of like Dark Souls, the games that I love, and putting it into a
okay. So you know what, Dark, speak to that for a second, because I haven't played it yet. And I want to take a quick second, guys. And I don't always do this, but the gentleman's phenomenal. Guys, check out at Wilmy Hood. I got his information scrolling along the top through the entire podcast. Dude hooked me up with the game, and I'm going to be on his podcast this Sunday night as well. So check it out, guys. I got his information scrolling on the top, and later on we're going to have it front and forward. But you know, I want to say this much, Dark. Explain to people what they mean, because I heard. Thank you, Jay, for putting up Wilmy's information. I got to tell you the truth. I think that people are using this. It's like Dark Souls, but then I've talked to people, and they're like, "Well, it's Dark Souls-ish, but not really." Right? It's not as difficult as Dark Souls.
Here's the thing: like when you're fighting like the stormtroopers and stuff like that, you're not really going to feel that Dark Souls feel, because you're going to be able to just obliterate any of the stormtroopers like out there. But when it comes to like the boss battles, you have to kind of think about them a little bit more in terms, like a Dark Souls or more like Bloodborne. I would consider it more like a Bloodborne Sekiro type of gameplay when it comes to the boss battles, because it's fast, it's more parrying, there's more just kind of more movements going on and going around.
Sounds like For Honor.
Yeah, kind of in a way. But it's so much more than just what people are saying it is, like Dark Souls or Uncharted or things like that. Yes, they've taken some of the best elements of those games and put it into this game, but I think it being Star Wars and it being this franchise that people love it's so much more than that because it has that Star Wars magic to it.
How are the upgrades and the RPG elements of the game?
The upgrades like the skill tree and stuff like that it's not like fully like expanded like some skill trees would be. It's more kind of like, like a Sekiro, kind of like that kind of skill tree, kind of, more simplistic. The graphics it looks phenomenal. Like, I mean, just the sheer cutscenes are awesome. It feels
Dark,
like
let me
a
ask
Star
you this.
Wars movie.
So Jay, you guys all know Jay at JMatrix76. The Matrix Gamer, he says one of the good things is if you change the difficulty level, it helps if you are not good with the parry, timing, and blocking that you do in like Dark Souls or Sekiro.
Assisted defense. Then,
but if you are good at the parrying, I would consider going to either the highest difficulty that you can go, or one below that. The one below that, which is Jedi Master, which is what I'm playing on. I'll play it later on the Grand Jedi Master.
Do you recommend playing it on Jedi Master? Because when I was watching a lot of reviews this morning,
it's kind of like. It's like cut down the middle. Like everything is just kind of cut down the middle. You're not having to worry about. It's kind of like Dark Souls, like where you don't have a difficulty like in terms of like enemies and stuff. You just kind of have to figure out those kind of enemies. So you're not gonna have like an enemy have a more stronger health bar or anything like that. They're just gonna be more. They're gonna think about your moves more than they would on a lower difficulty like easy or normal or
so
something
it's like
that.
You put fire or ice on a fire demon and reverse if it's a water demon in most games. So it's like
yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not as in depth like that. It's not like.
Let me ask this question to there's a couple of PC Master Race guys here, Enrique. Enrique, are you buying this on the X, or are you going to do a $15 Origin and play it on PC for the month?
I'm going to double dip. I got it on the X.
Enrique, reset your mic, buddy. You're botting.
Okay.
I got it for PlayStation because
Nautical. What do you got? Oh, I want to get back to you, Dark, because I want to know why you did that. But Nautical, I want to hear yours too, because you're in that PC world too.
So I already have it on the Xbox, but I double dipped and already had it on EA Origin Access on PC just because I just want to see that game in all of its glory. And the one thing that always holds me back from just playing certain games on Xbox is because I'm so used to having ultra wide field of view when it comes to these games. Mm-hmm. It's nothing like it's beautiful playing a game like Star Wars on a 55-inch TV. It's beautiful.
You're yours too because you're in that PC.
Better if you could play it like even on a 34-inch ultra wide, but with max settings running at 144 frames per second. The freaking game is gorgeous.
Forte, I play it in triple screen, so on my PC, dude, that's how I'm gonna play it.
It is a whole nother experience. Like when we tell people having a wider field of view makes the game that much more. It's almost
it does.
Play a game.
So wait, Forte, wait. I want to catch what you just said real quick. By the way, Forte, if you could put your mic up a bit. I have you on blast on Discord. I can't put you up any higher. Your volume's a little bit low, but I do want to ask you again. What do you mean by field of view? Did you, and I apologize because I was doing something else. Did you mean by playing it on a big screen TV versus a small monitor, or what's your frame of reference again? Could you restate?
All right, so
there you go. Thank you.
There's two. All right, good. Yeah. So the biggest thing with PC, some games have a field of view slider on console, which gives you a bigger field of view on your TV. Yes. But when I'm talking about field of view, I'm talking about a monitor that is 21:9 aspect ratio versus your normal 16:9 that you get on your standard TV, like a 55.
Do I have to have? Do I need to buy a widescreen TV monitor for that?
Yes, that is how you get that. If you get a TV that's monitor that's 21:9, like mine's a Samsung 34-inch, 1440 feet, 144 refresh rate.
Mm-hmm.
When I play games on it, it's like having 3 monitors next to each other.
That's what
but it's no borders in the picture. So if you ever like looked at a video of somebody like doing a racing simulator, and you see 3 TVs in front of their racing chair, that's basically what an ultra wide field of view is. You're basically taking 3 monitors and making it 1 monitor in whole. And when you can play a game like that, something like Star Wars or even Destiny, when you play it like that, it just brings more immersiveness to the game. You can see more
All
stuff
around
off to
you.
the side of you that you normally couldn't see in the game, and it just opens up your peripheral a lot better. And then when you just tie the 60 frames or 144 frames into that, it just makes it an even more memorable experience. I think Xbox can do it because certain games like Borderlands, they have the ability to change the field of view to make it a wider field of angle for you to play on the character.
Yeah.
But if they can actually make it so you could hook up a monitor or any type of 21:9 aspect ratio to your Xbox, dude, that would change more for me than anything.
3 360s and 3 discs. I used to do that on my 360 for some games, but I'm running 5890 by 1080 with all 3 monitors, and it is absolutely beautiful, dude. You can see everything. Everybody sneaking up on you. You can see the field of view from the sides, and it looks like you're really out in the world. It's almost as good as having an Oculus Rift, man.
Wow. That's impressive, and I think I want to get Enrique in here. Enrique, what are you doing for Fallen Order? Are you double dipping, or are you only buying in one place?
I'm going to double dip. I got the Xbox One X version. I originally got it for the collector's edition.
Enrique, stop.
Yeah, it's still bought, and Enrique, I don't know why. This happens only at the very end of the podcast.
Well, at least let me chime in here. The reason why I got on PlayStation, there's actually 2 reasons. My cousin really wanted to play it, and he's a huge Star Wars fan, so I game shared with him, so he wanted to play it. And another reason is because I'm better at parrying for some fucking god awful reason. For some reason, I'm better at parrying on a PlayStation 4 controller than I am on an Xbox One controller. I have no idea why. I just am.
Where's the parry button on? Where is the parry button on the game? I haven't.
It's L1 on the PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
L1.
What's the parry? What's parry on the Xbox?
It's on the left bumper, and for some reason that left bumper I don't know what it is on that.
So let me ask this question to Forte, because Forte, you got the Elite 2 as well as I did. What do you recommend maybe putting the parry to?
I have my parry on the right paddle, left back paddle.
Nice.
So I don't. That's why I was wondering, because I have no idea what the buttons for that parry are, because I use the buttons on the back for all that.
Granted, you can button map and stuff like that. I just don't want to have to do that. I don't like having.
You know what's funny? I got to agree with Goldblum. I mean, here I am. It's my second. Now I have. It's my third, if you will, if you count this one, Elite controller. And I got to be honest with you. I like the Elite controller because of the weight. I love the weight of it, and I like the short pull trigger option. But I'm gonna try. And that's why I'm very intrigued with what Forte said. But I understand where you're coming from, Goldblum, because my entire this entire generation, I have not utilized the Elite for what it is, or the button mapping service that's on a lot of controllers, or all controllers now. So I don't know, but I got to be honest with you, I do want to try and move it. Now, did you say the left D-pad? Or left paddle?
Left bumper. Left bumper is what he's using.
What are you using though, Forte?
Left. I have the left. I use all 4 paddles. I have it mapped to the top left paddle on the back.
Okay, so listen, this isn't even a topic. Nice. I got to ask you guys, man. Listen, I've had the Elite since day 1, and now I got the Elite 2. What is going on with the paddles? Like, I mean, I can't get into I've never tried the paddles. I gotta be honest with
you. They're too soft, right?
They feel like I feel like I would hit them all the controller because the way I hold the controller.
That doesn't happen. Get used to. They're good for racing games. They're good for shifting gears. They're good for certain shooters where you want to make one a grenade or a quick melee after you get used to it. They're really good for certain RPGs where you have to set something like for a special move or something like that. But you have to get used to the paddles. Just like Scuff has the same thing, but you have to get used to it.
But their paddles are a little bit more firm than the Xbox.
Well, now hold on a second. Let me.
Controller.
We gotta
I don't know about the Series 2.
That's why I want
to.
I switched to my Series 1 paddles. The length of them were better.
They're
for me
bigger.
than
the Series ones are bigger.
Paddles. Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't have a Series 2 and I don't have a Series 1.
All right, so I'll tell you this. Series 2 by far is the more comfortable experience with the paddles because you get, it seems like you can't accidentally push the paddles like you could on the Series 1. Okay. And that was a big issue. And it took me a while to get used to it. But I spent $150 on that controller and I was gonna use those paddles.
You're gonna use those paddles.
So I learned how to be more sensitive when I used it. Now with the version 2, I did the same thing that X-Men did. I literally took the paddles from the V1 and I'm using them on the V2 because they are bigger. But there's nothing wrong with the V2 paddle. They're just a little bit smaller for what I want them to be. But man, let me tell you, you know this because you play Destiny 2. Think of being able to revive somebody with a paddle
and it's quick,
and still be able to shoot and move your character around at the same time.
Yeah.
There's no loss in time from when you hit that paddle.
I want to get an Elite Series 2, but they're expensive, man. It's
expensive.
It's worth it.
It's expensive, so
it's worth.
I know it's worth it, but
I will tell you
I don't
this.
know if I want to spend that much money.
I will tell you this though: do not buy one of these controllers if you're not going to put the time into it, because once you learn it, you will never go back to a regular controller.
That tightening your controller is the biggest feature on that thing. It is the one thing that makes that controller worth it.
It fixes everything. It fixes everything that the original controller has.
All controllers have. It fixes everything that all other controllers, from the PlayStation to the Nintendo to ones you used to use on your PC. It fixes everything.
One more thing about Star Wars before we get out of here or whatever you're gonna do, Mooch, is that the loading screens are kind of long.
I heard it's awful.
It's not awful. It's not Bloodborne. It's not Bloodborne. But console wise,
did you hear Forte? Not on PC.
I know PC. No, I heard PC was fantastic. Like their
the PC Metascore still sitting in. Shout out to Slow Mo because I did check that out too. The PC meta sitting at 91.
That makes sense.
Great.
Right?
Well, you know why, right? Because it's only PC people judging that game. When it's console, that's when you get all the negativity. PC,
that's when you get everybody.
Right. PC, they give you positive about every game that's
that ain't true.
What we get.
That ain't true.
Okay, which game?
No, because this is the thing about, I'm gonna tell you the thing about PC. PC gamers are the harshest critics when it comes to these games because they will not accept trash. We don't. If a game does not control well, the first thing they're going to do is say, especially if it's a game that came from console, they're going to say, dude, why do we have an unoptimized game on PC? And they're going to rip it to shreds.
I know. Let your frame rate be bad on a PC.
Be terrible. They rip that game to shreds, bro.
Yeah. I'll tell you. Enrique, did your mic get fixed? Not sure if it did or it did not. We broke it back in.
Okay?
It's listen, it's still botting, but we're near the end of the show, so I was just go ahead and say what you're gonna say because I want to hear what your thoughts are on Jedi.
PC Master Race.
Short and sweet. Nick and Eric, what are you guys doing as far as Jedi? Is it a buy if you're buying where and or is it a pass?
No, it's definitely a buy for me. I haven't picked it up yet. I'm still working on Death Stranding and Outer Worlds. So I'm gonna hold off just a couple of weeks.
Well, if you hold off a couple of weeks, I'll be honest with you, there's a good chance you'll get a great sale on that 2E.
Oh, for sure.
Well, not even that, but also you also get those patches and stuff like that because I'm pretty sure they probably still have the patches for like loading time and all, good fun stuff. But anyway, but no, as far as what platform, I'm not sure like which one is ranking best. I don't know if it's the X or the Pro. I don't know which one, but for games like this, I've noticed.
Don't get it for the S.
no.
Play it on the
But-
S.
The S is like literally stuttering. Like literally, it has to load in things. So it's like it'll stop at a certain point randomly, and then it'll stay there for like 7 seconds, and then go into another
This is
thing,
why
let
I
you go.
tell all my
It's
friends,
ridiculous.
if you're gonna download a game that you have that you know you're gonna be playing right away, don't put it on the external hard drive. Put it on the internal hard drive. It'll run so much better. So take what you need.
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing with Borderlands 3.
Right. What you need to take off on the internal, put it on the external, then put the new one on the internal.
So wait, you're saying play Jedi on the external?
Internal. Play it on the internal.
Well, I'm not talking about the Xbox One X. I'm talking about the base Xbox.
Right, I'm talking about the S. Yeah,
the base models are having a problem.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Well, Jay, that thing's. I mean, people think that they're gonna keep that system relevant. That thing is gonna get. That thing's gonna fall off as soon as the Scarlet comes out.
Exactly.
Because they got the X on sale for $350. Believe you me, I'm picking up a second one.
Well, let me do this, guys. It's past 9 o'clock, guys. We've definitely, and it's funny because that's why I actually sent out less topics today than I usually do, and we still only got to half of them because we had such great debate early on in the show. I am going to let the guys that are here do their outros and give a good plug to each of their channels and Twitter feeds, respectively. Let me just say this much real quick, just to kick it off. Xbot could not get back on because of his mic, but I want to say check out Xbot448. That's Xbot448 on Twitter. It's on YouTube, and he's got next podcast tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's very cool. And then also Nick had to bounce out. He had to leave. He's got a pretty sharp 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Eastern time. He's like, I got to go. So shout out to Nick. All of his information is up right there on the screen as I speak. Check it out. He's at Undead3XVI, and his username on YouTube is the same. So I want to say shout out to those guys. And do check out at Crap Gamer Reviews, buddy. He's got 2 videos a day that always come out. Great guy. Awesome dude. He'll be back soon. I do want to say this much. Thank you to everybody. And I'm going to go down here and let each of these guys kind of let themselves do their own little plug here. Let me start with Goldblum. You know, Goldblum, I know you're some big Hollywood hotshot. But listen, I'm just
you always say that, but
right?
Not even.
All I'm looking to get from you are some movie tickets. Listen, let everybody know where we can find you, buddy, and hopefully you'll be on real soon.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox and PlayStation at the same name. And Mooch, as always, man, it's always a pleasure to be on CrossFire, and I hope to do some more in the future.
Hey, buddy, I hope so. All you have to do is say I'm available, and I'm going to get Goldblum on here. I won't let that opportunity pass by.
For sure.
And then I've got Eric Jackson. Eric, let everybody know where they can find you, and thank you so much for being here this evening.
Oh man, once again, thanks for having me, bro. I'm glad you were able to send the call out. I was able to answer it. I had to reschedule for 3 weeks.
You got stuff going on, man. You're busy.
Yeah, man. But I'm always down when you hit me up, man. I'm down to be here for real. But yeah, you can find me Twitter, EC Jackson with an X. Same for Xbox and PlayStation. So yeah, it'll be up there. Oh, and then Wednesday nights, Brat Podcast and Gaming Perspective Podcast. But we record on that one.
Was it a Brap takeover?
Well, you know what it was? It was a Brap takeover, and then I got a Sir X-Man in there, right? I got a Dark Goldblum in there. We got a couple, it was just a little bit of a mix in there. Enrique, listen, I don't care, mic working or not. Plug that channel, and thanks for being electric tonight on the show, man. Great points you made. The crowd loves you, buddy. Let everybody know where they can find you.
First, can you guys hear me or my body?
It's botting, but we can make it out.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
All right, I'm botting, but you can follow me at Rap_podcast on Twitter. Check us out on YouTube, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. We go live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mooch, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Enrique. I'll give him a quick plug as well. That's
I pulled out my decoder ring for that.
It's at Brap_podcast. Check him out on Twitter. And it's just check out Brap Podcast on YouTube. You will find Enrique, and he is very vocal. He's everywhere. And then I got Nautical Gaming Forte. Forte, just like usual, man. You are literally the professor out there. You know what's going on. You got your ear to the ground. You know what's happening with the consumer. And you also play lots of games so people know that you speak the truth. Forte, let people know where they can find you, please.
Yeah, man. As always, another great episode of Crossfire. You can catch me on the channel over at Gaming Forte on YouTube, Gaming_Forte on Twitter, and once a good proud member of the Brat Podcast every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Like Enrique said, we are super close to 1,300 subscribers, guys. We're about 60 away. So if you haven't been over there, go like that channel because my man Brad, we need to get as many eyes on that podcast as possible. If you like gaming, you like non-biased opinions, and you just want to hear the truth, that's where you want to come every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And then you want to check out Luca, the Scumcast. I don't have to tell you who she is because she's basically the queen of Mooch, and she's the better half of the man that runs this podcast.
Yep.
And I owe everything to that woman. So check her out too, and hit me up if you guys ever need anything. Thanks again, Mooch.
Thank you, Forte. I do want to give a shout out to Luca. Luca's hashtag my New York. She's a female Mooch, no doubt. And do check out Scubcast, man. That is a great show. Always promoting that show on the channel too. Check out Luca. And then I've got Sir X-Man, who is honestly, Sir X-Man. I hope you don't mind. I always say you one of the original Mooch maniacs, man. You've been with me for so long. It's an honor to have you on the show, man. And thank you for the support. And you're always welcome back on. Let people know where they can find you.
When I can go back to day shift and be on at nights. But you can reach me at Sir X-Man on Twitter, or like Mooch has it in there, Sir X-Man 1, which is what they label you. You can find me on Xbox, same name as Sir X-Man. That's about it. I'll throw out a video once in the blue moon. I only got one, but I want to make another one, and it's about a topic that I briefly talked about today about the video, the Xbox game stream preview. If you should check it out for yourself and see what it's like. It's really amazing. And Thanks for having me, Mooch. And I love the panel. Everybody gave great insight to everything. Oh, and by the way, real quick, I love Disney Plus.
Oh,
yes.
Man. If we had more time, I was going to tie that into the Jedi.
I saw it, but I love it. I've been binge watching the X-Men, the original X-Men TV show, the cartoon.
Yeah,
the original
Gargoyles
on there.
Gargoyles too.
They got gargoyles on there?
Yes, gargoyles on there.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they
do. I finished the Silver Surfer earlier today.
I'll tell you right now, that Disney Plus is something. We'll probably bring it up next week. I want to say thanks to everybody that was here. Guys, please do hit the subscribe button if you're listening now or you're listening later. It means the world to the Mooch. We are 20, I think I'm 15 or 20 away from 9,000. Trying to hit that 9,000 mark for a long time. I know I got to get some videos out. That's a me problem. But I am doing Twitch.tv this weekend. I'm going to be doing Jedi Fallen Order and Death Stranding on Twitch. Check it out. It's the Mooch78, same as YouTube, on Twitch. Go ahead and follow me over there. It's an entertaining stream. I do 2-3 hours, and Mooch doesn't shut up. I talk the whole time. It's not easy, but it's what I do. It's just how I live, right? So for real, guys, check it out, guys. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the way out, and we'll see everybody next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on Crossfire. Thanks again. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.
Peace.
Hola.
Later.